Championships, and a real buzz in the stadium, as you would expect, because it's the host nation, Chile, who will kick off against Venezuela. Very much the rabbits, I suppose, of this championship. There are 10 countries competing. Neither of these has ever won. And here is the Chile lineup, announced just a few moments ago. 2 surprises in there, because we had been given a side earlier, and 17 Perez and 2 Espinosa have been called in by Arturo Sala, the coach. It's a real mixture of youth and experience. The experience with the likes of Hugo Rubio in there. And here is the Venezuela lineup, chosen by their new coach, Victor Pignanelli, who is from Uruguay. He sounds very Italian, doesn't he? And Maldonado, wearing number 10, is their starter watch. He scored all 4 goals of Venezuela's in the Copa America 2 years ago. Don Howe is with me. I remember Maldonado. I don't know if you do, Don.
No, I don't.
Well, he was the one Venezuelan player, really, who covered himself in glory in those championships. But let's have a look at the record of these 2 sides over the years. Chile against Venezuela in the Copa America. Chile have never lost to Venezuela. And indeed, when you look at Venezuela's record, it's pretty desperate, isn't it? Just 1 win in 23 matches. That was against Bolivia. And look at that concession. 80 goals conceded. That's almost 4 a match. Chile, on the other hand, have never won the Copa America, but they have won 33 matches. They've reached 3 finals and they've lost a lot. But one wonders whether now, in their own country, and with that incentive of Colo-Colo's victory in the Libertadores Cup, whether this might just be their year. Well, apparently there has been some real pandemonium in the stadium, and there could be a slight delay in the kick-off. Well, you expect pandemonium in South America, as Phil Meissen indicated in our opening. Anything can happen here. There is going to be a moment's silence at the beginning here, which is for those fans who died recently in the wake of a notable football victory in the country. But it is really sad that such a joyous occasion should be marred by such tragedy afterwards. There were 10 people killed and 100 people injured in the aftermath of Colo-Colo's success. But now the referee has indicated that the Copa America can get underway, and I'll pose that question to you again, Don. Chile, by the way, are playing in the red shirts and the blue shorts. Venezuela all in white, and that looks as though it might well be the first free kick awarded in about 2 seconds flat. Is this going to be Chile's year, Don, in their own country?
Well, obviously, that home advantage is in any kind of big competition, whether it's the World Cup, whether it's the European Nations Cup, and obviously the South American Cup. The home advantage is always, it plays a big part. And I think last time the World Cup was in Chile, they got close to it. I think they got to the semi-final. That was going back quite a while. And they've got a good side now. I mean, they did very well over in Dublin.
They did. They drew 1-1 there recently, and they've had quite a good build-up. They've had 7 matches in the build-up to these South American Championships. They've lost just 2 of those, 1 to Ecuador, 1 to Uruguay. But their form recently has been good, and that is often reflected by club performances. And if a club of theirs is good enough to win the Libertadores Cup, this national team can't be bad either.
That's right. Obviously, I think that they'll be going for an early goal, John. I mean, that's the thing that they'll try and get. I mean, Venezuela haven't got a very good record anyway, and they will, being at home, they'll put the pressure on the Venezuelans. They'll keep them pending their own half as much as they can, hoping they can get an early goal and then really get going right into the match.
That's right, and Chile straight away finding that the referee, I won't say he's on their side, but he's certainly awarded the first 2 free kicks of this match to the host nation. Not surprisingly, they'll be looking to their experienced men, the men who've played in Europe, like Rubio, who is with St. Gallen in Switzerland, to really lead them forward here in front of their own fans, who are fanatical and who are really on a high at the moment. Referee waving play on this time, and I would have thought that Venezuela might have got the ball back for their goalkeeper to have a touch of it then. It's what all goalkeepers like early in a match. This is that man that we were talking about, Maldonado, little number 10 there, who scored the 4 goals that Venezuela procured in the last South American Championships. They haven't any other players that are particularly of note, and indeed they have 3 making their debuts here. That's rather a lot in one international match of this stature. It's Echenosi, who wears 15, Jimenez and Cavallo all making their debuts tonight, and it's Chile very much on the attack, as you would have expected in these opening moments of the game. Venezuela will be really looking to get through this very awkward opening phase of 10 or 15 minutes without conceding anything.
That's right, John. And also, if you look at the picture, is that they are dropping back in their own half. They've virtually got 11 players in their own half, Venezuela, and it's hard to get through. And they're trying to go through the middle, Chile, at the moment. You tend to think, when it gets packed like this, let's go around the sides. Obviously, Venezuela will just look to keep things on the break. They hope that the Chilean players will kind of overindulge or push too many players forward, and then they'll come back on the break.
They start at a colossal disadvantage because, believe it or not, they haven't played any international football since 1989.
Yeah.
They just haven't had any matches at all. It's not, of course, the #1 sport in their country, that's baseball.
Yeah, well, there's a big kind of American influence in Venezuela. They've been on the north coast there. And also kind of a Caribbean flavour, if you like. I mean, you can. I remember, if you're in Trinidad, you can always look across to Venezuela.
We're not in Trinidad right now, we're in Santiago, Chile. That's where these championships are being hosted. Good play here for Venezuela, mind you. That was Rivas. Of course, one's mind goes back to 1962 when Chile staged the World Cup finals, and more recently the World Youth Championships. Chile very much on the attack here, right on the edge of Venezuela's area, and they've got so many men back in defence. That was William Pacheco clearing it, and a good break out of defence too. What a pity he trod on the ball, otherwise that might have been quite a useful development for Venezuela. It really would lift them enormously if they could get the first goal. But here come Chile again, the ball laid back by Zamorano.
First, a little bit of width there, John, for the Chileans, and they obviously it's turned them a corner. But it looked dangerous. It looked as though they're going to get into a good crossing situation.
The onus very much on Chile in front of their own fans. Everybody expects them to win, and they need to win. They go off to Peru to play Peru after this one. The supporters bouncing up and down in the background. I wonder if they can see anything. The corner kick will be taken for Chile. And flicked on at the near post. It sounds as though the whistle has gone. It has indeed. And the free kick already awarded.
A little bit of pushing and shoving in the box, but that was a typical English First Division corner, John. It was played into the near post. There was a flick there, but it looked as though the players going in to get on the end of the flick were pushing and shoving. Spoiled a good chance.
So Venezuela coming through unscathed so far. They are one of 4 of the nations competing here who have never won the South American Championships. The winners over the years: Argentina on 9 occasions, Uruguay 9 times as well, Brazil surprisingly only 4, Peru twice, Paraguay twice, and Bolivia once. But Chile, Venezuela, Colombia and Ecuador all here searching for their first ever Copa America. And once more, it's Chile on the attack. The ball laid forward and inside that area, plenty of bodies in here, and this could be the first one. It's trickled an inch or 2 wide of that right-hand upright. Well, that shows the danger.
Super midfield break by the number 8, John. Lovely little run and a nice angle ball, virtually just inside the box. He picks it up nicely and sets himself a chance up. He's done all the hard work. If he hits the target, it's a goal.
Yeah, that was Contreras. Jorge Contreras, who played for 5 years in Spain in Las Palmas. And that's how close he was.
Well, he had to do it quickly, obviously, and the goalkeeper coming through himself into the picture. But really, he should have put it away.
Yes, the stadium holds over 70,000. And some atmosphere, I can tell you, as there always is in South American football. You can say what you like about it, but it does engender enormous atmosphere. They play the game with colossal passion, and the supporters support it with colossal passion.
Yeah, it's very individually skillful, John. I mean, it's played really in 2 ways, especially up front. It's either quick 1-2s, or it's those clever little darting runs from just behind the ball into the box. That's how it's played, and obviously with the individual ability thrown in.
And there's some individual ability on the Venezuela side as well. That one came from James, wearing number 8.
Well, obviously Venezuela just leave the one player forward, and they'll hope to get the ball into him, support him as quick as they possibly can, and then get another player breaking to help to make the 3-up and get into the space that the Chilean players will leave, because they're all pushing forward.
All going to be played back. Nice for Chile's goalkeeper, Patricio Toledo, to have a feel of the ball too. He's taken over from the controversial Roberto Rojas, of course, the man who was suspended for life after that incident in the match against Brazil when he feigned injury. Yet another example of things that happen in South American soccer. Venezuela making it difficult for Chile. They have had the one opportunity so far. Slow build-up being favoured here as the ball is laid forward. And then back again. And they'll take their time. That was Garrido switching it left. Even further left now, and a bit of space up there this time. Not surprisingly, Venezuela's coach has opted for a pretty stiff back lineup. He knows that his side is going to be under pressure for the majority of this game and must rely on sporadic breakouts. Yeah, well, it's all based around the sweeper, John. He'll play free, and he'll just sit in behind everybody, and everybody else will be tight, man for man, and go from there and try and make it as kind of difficult as they can. Pressure on the ball all the time, especially in their own half. One thing, the pitch looks in absolutely tip-top condition. It's a lovely surface. For South American, that's very good, John. It's extremely good. You can get some really dodgy surfaces over there, but this one looks excellent. Now there might be chances. Chile still have plenty of people up here. It was a bad place for the move to break down, and Chile have a real chance here. The ball smothered by Faciana, the Venezuela goalkeeper, just as the big man. Hello, there was a bit of trouble there. Zamorano. Not sure whether he flung out his fists, but certainly a Venezuela defender has gone down. Here was the move. It always looked dangerous once Venezuela had lost the ball in midfield. There we see the defender who's gone down is Pacheco, William Pacheco. John, there was a run to the near post, and I think the defender thought he was going to get done. So he got across he banged into the forward because he thought the forward was going to get to the near post first. And then obviously they play act as though they've got hurt. Well, the referee so far has kept things moving quite nicely. Yes. 5 on the ball is Vilches, another of the Colo-Colo players, and of course another very important aspect of this Chilean side is that they basically come from 2 clubs, so they all know one another's play tremendously well. They play as a unit, and it's Venezuela on the breakout with James. He's got support on his right from Marcano. Solidly laid through the middle, and a good run as well. Some excellent counter-attacking here from Venezuela. Could they have the first strike on goal? And the ball is tipped back to Toledo. But that showed the enterprise of Venezuela. It was a lovely ball down the right touchline. The cross-in had them in a bit of a dither as well, but that was a beautiful pass. It bisected the defence. Well, if the final pass gets in here, John, into the back post, he'll just cipher it into the net. It looks a little bit offside, but here again, that's the break they're going to play for all the time. And this is the sort of thing that Venezuela must guard against, conceding free kicks as they have done here with the foul on Pizarro. And it could lead to a free kick for Chile, only about 25 or 30 yards out, and I think it's going to lead to the very first yellow card of the Copa America, and it is shown to Venezuela's Roberto Cavallo, making his debut. What a way to start. Well, obviously, when you're tight like this, I mean, any ball played into feet, they're going to come in behind the Venezuelan defenders and put their foot in. And unless the timing is absolutely spot on, they'll make contact with the forward's feet, and it'll be a foul. And that's when all the crazy things that happen in these games can start to happen. When people become very emotional and lose their head a little bit, and then we see all the fun in games. And this is where we might well see a shot on goal coming in from someone like Espinosa, who strikes the ball well from distance. Rubio's another one. They have another player called Bassé de Chile who's not in the lineup tonight, and he hits it well too. It's a different ploy, however. Hasn't quite worked out as yet, but it's laid back in. Chances here, a fine save by Fraciana from the header from Zamorano. Flinging himself to his left, made it look perhaps more spectacular than he might have needed to do. Nonetheless, he made the save, and that's the important factor. Interesting little free kick, played in and then pushed out wide again. When the ball came back in, there was a header from Zamorano, and a good stop.
Well, the fellow who went over the ball really should have got the return. It was a nice ball played in, John, but the fellow who'd run over the ball initially should have got the return. The return was too heavy, and it went wide. But as it was, it worked out okay, because when the cross came in, the fellow who knocked it wide got on the end of it and really could have scored.
Like one of those bad golf shots, it turns out.
Yes, that's right.
Well, this pitch, I've commented on it before, looks as though it would be fit to put on. Excellent condition here in Santiago. And as we told you, a number of matches being played in different centres around Chile. And the breakout once more on, because Chile lost possession in a bad place, midfield and outside their own half. But they come away again, this time with Pizarro. He's trying to get his man moving away down that left-hand side. That man being Rubio, and here's the low cross, easily cut out this time by Macano. They're quite confident on the ball, Venezuela, no doubt about that.
Yes, they are. The only thing about it, John, is that if they overdo it in their own half, you know, because the Chileans have got all their players forward, you know, they could win the ball back in the Venezuelan half and virtually exploit that situation. I think a lot of people would be thinking, well, let's get up to the centre forward, support him. If we then lose it farther up the field, it's not going to hurt so much.
I think the first goal might be very important here. If Chile get the first goal, they could go on to get 2 or 3, but on the other hand, if Venezuela were to get it, that would put enormous pressure on Chile as the host country.
It could have been, John. I mean, when they made that break down that right wing, if the ball across the box had reached the far post.
Another free kick awarded by the referee, who is from Colombia, Senor Perez. Half an hour left in this first half, in the first match of the 1991 Copa America. It's Chile 0, Venezuela 0. The free kick played in, and the whistle has sounded again.
See, most of these free kicks, John, I don't know whether it's planned or not, in a position where it's very difficult for them to shoot. I mean, it can only be a crossing situation. And obviously the Chileans, being, you know, small and stocky, typical Spanish kind of build, the crosses in the box are not going to be as vulnerable as what they could be.
Well, that must surely be offside. It doesn't matter, the ball's in the net. The whistle had gone, we could see from here. That was definitely offside.
That's a good run out, a good planned run out. There would be a shout there, John, by the Venezuela defence. So they line up as normal for a free kick, and the captain or the sweeper would make a shout. And as the man runs up to play the ball in on the cross, they come out and leave the man offside.
So Chile 0, Venezuela 0. Chile runners-up in the South American Championships in 1955, 1979, and again in 1987. And they really did score a stunning victory then over Brazil. I remember them beating them by 4-0, which really stunned the whole of South America. Any victory over Brazil does, of course. But this is really the time when they do fancy their chances in their own country, and coming on top of that Colo-Colo victory in the Libertadores Cup final against Olimpia of Paraguay. And it's significant nowadays that when it comes to the Libertadores Cups, it's not an automatic thing for the Argentines or the Brazilian teams to win it. We've had sides from Colombia winning recently, and now from Chile.
Yeah, and the Uruguayans as well. I mean, it has got now that at club level, I suppose, like it is the rest of the world, you know, there's a good quality there.
Ooh, that was a pretty bad challenge. There is the coach off his feet, Toro Sala, only 41.
Yes.
And therefore brings fresh ideas to the job. He was the coach of Colo-Colo indeed before, and he's actually studied football in England as well as Italy and France, so he's world wise in the game.
I think it's got, John, because of obviously the satellites and television, and coaches prepared now to travel around the world to look at other types of football, the way other people approach football. It is now they're becoming very good.
That was a delightful bit of football there. Excellent work by Garrido. And Chile still very much in the ascendancy, but they will have to beware these lightning breakouts by Venezuela. There could well be one on here as well. This time, no, and it's that man again, Garrido. A lot of white shirts around when it mattered. And so the breakout is led for Venezuela here, and he's all on left foot, but well, to pretty good effect by Cavallo and supported by Rivas.
He looks a good player, John Cavallo. I mean, he intercepted the ball kind of midway in his own half, ran with it to the edge of the box, and got a good shot in. He looks as though he can play.
And he's not intimidated by the occasion, obviously. Chile begin again from midfield. Swung out left, it's not going to reach the intended mark. Of course, coming up later, and you'll see it all on Screen Sport, the second match, which is again played in this same stadium between Peru and Paraguay. Just in case you might have missed it at the start, the South American Championships this year split into two groups. Group A comprising of Chile and Venezuela, Paraguay and Peru, and Argentina, the one side not playing today. And then Group B, Colombia, Ecuador, Uruguay, Bolivia and Brazil. And there are two qualifiers, one from each of those groups, whoever heads them for the last four in Santiago, or two from each group I should say, go through to the last four in Santiago. Some strange reason, although there are 45,000 people inside the stadium, there are a lot more still arriving, police cordoning off the area. So a lot of people mustn't have been reading the Santiago Times today. They don't know what time the match kicked off.
It sounds like English football at times. I mean, we did that last year. I mean, and I think it's rightly so. I mean, these days with traffic jams and such, if people can't arrive, put the kick-off back 15 minutes, put it back half an hour. The players don't like it, but it's better that than any trouble. It gives, people know that, that they're going to see the game, and they're not going to panic.
Chile 0, Venezuela 0 here in Santiago. And Chile in the red shirts and the blue shorts dominating the game, but unable to find a way through, and a little bit wary at the moment of whenever Venezuela break. They look quite menacing. Funnily enough, Venezuela's attack wasn't too bad 2 years ago. They scored 4 goals, but they let in an awful lot. They might let in one here now. There's the chance. Fine stop. What an excellent save it was. And Frassiani dives gratefully on the ball. The first opportunity really fell to Mendoza coming down this right-hand side. And there was one excellent stop in there.
Just runs away from Mendoza. He looks as though he's got a chance to get the ball, and then it runs away from him. But he has the sense to get all of it and drag it back towards the penalty spot. A midfield player comes in and the keeper comes out and charges it down. It was a good save. And also, they've got about 3 or 4 players back on the goal line anyway.
It was from Espinosa. He's made another fine stop too. So Frassiani immediately covering himself in glory. He's not a young goalkeeper, this one, Don. He's 30 years of age, but he's winning only his second cap. Apparently he's really come good after about 8 years in the game.
That was another good save because he did it coming out. I mean, he was on his way out when he had to make his leap. But it was Contreras who made that little run into the box again to get himself free, coming from behind the ball, and he got a good shot on it this time.
And the second yellow card produced, this time it's for Jose Jimenez from Portuguesa, another making his international debut. So the two bookings, Cavallo and Jimenez, both on the Venezuela side, and both players making their debut. Corner kick for Chile then, driven in, near post, plan move, goal for Chile! The first goal of the Copa America has been scored for Chile by Vilches.
Well, a near post one again, John. A typical kind of first division goal, English goal. Flick on the near post. The last time they did it, they gave a silly foul away. But this time it worked out for them.
So Chile make the breakthrough, and this really, it will be interesting to see now how Venezuela will cope in the light of this. Conceding the first goal, the corner taken, a planned move, and Vilches rifles it in low. Nothing Frassiani could do about that. Chile have the lead, and that is going to settle them no end. And there is the moment that Vilches will treasure for the rest of his life. One of Colo Colo's players, and they've got so many in this Chilean lineup. They take the lead on 23 minutes with a goal from midfielder Eduardo Vilches.
He did very well, John, because he was sitting on the goal line. As the cross came into the near post, he left the defenders on the goal line and pulled out towards the edge of the 6-yard box. And then he turned with his right foot and hooked it into the goal on the volley. It was a super goal. Not an easy skill, that.
And now they come again. They swarm around the Venezuelan penalty area, and the ball breaks out here to Mendoza. Mendoza has figured in some good build-ups in the last few minutes, and here's another good one, a second chance, and this time the shot flies over the crossbar. He got too much underneath that one, Contreras. But at the moment, Venezuela are being prized open, and anything might happen.
They look in trouble, John, and what the Chileans are doing now, they're making these little runs from the centre of the box to the width of the box, and they're playing balls just outside the width of the box. Somebody gets onto it, and then he drags it across the face of the 6-yard box, and he's creating havoc.
And they're looking particularly menacing down this right-hand side with these breaks by Mendoza and Contreras. And here they come again, and again it's down this right-hand side.
John, if the other team are going to pull 9 players back as defenders, and they're going to sit them around the edge of their penalty box, round the D on the penalty box, you can only get on down the sides, you can only get in down the sides. And at last, the Chileans have seen that, and they now get into vulnerable positions and get in all kinds of crosses in, and most of them have been low crosses.
Free kick, and this is in another very dangerous position for Venezuela. It's going to be floated in here by Espinosa. And a second goal would be crushing to the morale of Venezuela. Here it comes, flicked on, it's in the net again, it's a second goal. Rubio this time, and Venezuela wide open. But Rubio, I think he's celebrating prematurely. I think he's been cancelled out here from the look of it, and from the whistling around. Rubio there, he looked in an offside position, it must be said.
Well, he came late though, John. I mean, after the ball was played, I mean, they hit Rubio. I mean, they hit him at the corners on that near post. He hits him here, and the player comes in late on the end of the flick. Very tight one, that.
But given offside in the final analysis, so it was a premature celebration by Hugo Rubio. And that is salvation for Venezuela. 2 down at that stage, they'd have been out.
They do, yes, that's right, John. And also they don't know how to defend that near post. Free kicks all corners.
They come on the attack now. They attack better than they defend, I think. Oh, slightly unlucky there. Still Chile pour forward. They look much stronger in midfield with the likes of Contreras and Espinosa, experienced internationals of course, and they're back here again, coming down the left-hand side. The chance there for the centre-forward Zamorano. This time they survive it, but they're looking very vulnerable at the moment.
Yes, they are. Yeah, that was a nice diagonal ball there. There's no doubt about it. When they're getting down the sides of the penalty box, the Venezuelans are not good at defending that situation.
And Screen Sports coverage of the South American Championships brought to you in conjunction with Adidas and Lucozade. No free kick this time. But the referee was firm enough to rub out that goal when Chile thought they'd gone too clear. And And I think he's done a pretty good job so far. His latest decision is to award a free kick to the home side. Jose Jimenez there, that was a few minutes ago. He got that yellow card. The second one, he's a 22-year-old making his debut. His club has only just avoided relegation this season as well, so he's had a pretty tough time of it in recent months. These the 28th official South American Championships, first contested back in 1917. The man down on the ground is Cesar Marcano, winning his third cap.
The thing about the Chileans, John, is that they are keeping the pace of the game pretty high. I mean, now we've been going, what, nearly 20 minutes, over 20 minutes, and they haven't let up yet. You know, they're keeping the pressure on the Venezuelans.
It's getting close to half an hour, in fact, Don, and they lead 1-0 to Chile. The goal scorer, Eduardo Vilches. It came at a perfect moment for Chile, really, after a lot of pressure. And the man down this time, again on the Venezuela side, is Maldonado. The one player in this Venezuela side who's had experience outside his own country, played in Brazil. He's in fact just returned to his own country there after a spell in Brazil. But they are very much the minnows of this championship. And defend like that. They are in possession.
When they're on the ball, they look very comfortable as well. I mean, there's a lot of continental and South American players. Individually on the ball, they look okay. I don't know whether perhaps there's too much respect shown from the start.
Well, they'll have to show a bit of respect again now, I'm afraid, in defence. It's Chile coming for a delightful little manoeuvre, that one. Nothing on the end of it as yet, as the ball is not threaded through on that occasion by Espinosa. They do transfer it quite quickly, and here is this man Maldonado. He's got good skill. Excellently got away from those two defenders there. Kept the move going, and free kick awarded for offside, but Maldonado showing a nice touch of skill. Yeah,
I mean, he got out of a tight situation there. I mean, he was surrounded by about 3 or 4 red shirts, and he twisted and turned and came out of it free and got his pass away fine. Like I say, individually they look okay. It's just tactically they look as though they're frightened of the Chileans, and they're going back in their own half and saying, well, you know, you can have all the initiative. So them showing a little bit of initiative.
And they're a goal down with 15 minutes to go, and there is their coach, the man from Uruguay. As they defend once more, enough white shirts around this time, however. Victor Pignanelli, the coach, as I was just referring to him there, of Venezuela, only just settled into the job. It must be a great problem for him that they've played such little international football over the years. Not much doubt about that.
You were saying early on, John, that you thought that the name was Italian and that he could be an Italian, some Italian in his blood. There's nothing about. They are playing like an Italian team. They are defending in their own half. I mean, as you know, in English football, we like to defend early. We defend in their half. Now, what the Venezuelans doing, they're virtually, as soon as they lose the ball, all folding back in their own half and defending kind of from the halfway line to the edge of the box. Typical Italian.
Here's another manoeuvre down the right-hand side, led by James, but the defender this time too strong for him, Garrido. A vastly experienced player, and we consider he's winning his 32nd cap, and Chile have the likes of Pizarro, who's won 38 caps, Rubio, who's won 24 in there. So Venezuela have only one player who's won a double-figure number of caps. That's Maldonado with 18. And their total number of caps doesn't amount to more than about 40.
It's very difficult when, you know, there's no real kind of experience and that to go with the team and get them to really feel good about the way they're going to play and express themselves and not be afraid of the opponents. It's very, very difficult.
Chile looking to win the ball back in midfield again. They lead by 1-0. And they have plenty of men up in this attack as again. Played wide by Zamorano. Chances of a second goal maybe this time. It's coming out here. Still the move continues. Knocked away this time, however, by the cool defending of Echinausi. Yet another winning his first cap. Chileans have always had good football. Temperament has sometimes let them down. course, there's very strong British influence in Chilean football. It was started by sailors.
Oh yeah,
British sailors was football in Chile.
and obviously with people like the Robledo brothers who played up at Newcastle. I mean, there is that kind of, like you say, the British influence.
That's right, George and Ted Robledo. And indeed, of course, you only have to look at some of the names of the club sides over there. Everton and Rangers.
Yeah, that's right.
And the delightfully named O'Higgins.
O'Higgins, yeah.
Not quite sure who he was. Guess where he came from. Here's a free kick for Chile. The header on the mark. Comfortably into the arms of Fraziano.
It sounds like a Yorkshire amateur club, O'Higgins, John.
With an Irish president. Fraziano reaches the halfway line. Another Italian-sounding gentleman. This goalkeeper here, Fraziano, who plays for the Zamora club, winning his second cap. Bowling the ball out for Jimenez, one of the two players already cautioned in this match. Chinozi, not a good ball this time. Picked out Perez, who was brought in at the last minute. I don't think Nelson Perez was expected to feature in Chile's first lineup at all. But he was brought in at the very last minute in place of Ramirez. Generally, the half has gone the way Chile would have wanted it to go. They were just caught square once, and could well have conceded the first goal in this game. As it is, they lead by 1-0. They've had one disallowed, and they're on the attack again here with Rubio. Well cut out this time. And I really think it was a vital moment in the match that when Rubio's goal was disallowed. However, they might get a second one here. Lovely skill, beautifully done, a super goal, Zamorano. That's a really classical goal. A move to tear the opposition apart. The flags are flying here. Chile have a 2-goal lead. It might well have been 3, but this is a beautiful goal. Look at the skill factor there, the chip to perfection. The header, thank you very much. Nothing Fraziano can do about that. And it's Chile 2, Venezuela 0. And I don't mind how many times I see this goal. It looks as good as ever every time.
Down the side of the box, John. Same again. The ball's played in. What they do with the Chileans, they're very good at it. They get kind of midway in the Chilean half and they play it into a front player and then they keep the run going. And they find the runner, and the runner's getting now, he's getting down the width of the pitch, and obviously he gets himself into a position to get across it. He did very well there. His composure on the cross was good because he got himself into a position, he checked and came back inside on his right foot, and then chipped it to the back post.
I think that was the beauty about that goal, the composure of the cross. Zamorano's finish, well, he plays for Seville in Spain, so they know all about him on Screen Sport, years of Spanish soccer. Zamorano, who scored in the recent 3-1 win over Ecuador, has got another goal here, a crippling blow to Venezuela. They're 2 down, and they're trying to come forward. And really, it's one of those matches where you feel, well, Chile could score any number in this game.
Oh, yes, yeah. No, they've got them under pressure now. They've really got the... If they can keep this pace up, I mean, I'm very impressed with their fitness.
And of course, with this competition format, it's based on league tables. Goal difference can be very, very important. Can they get a third one before half-time? Not with that sort of shot, probably.
But here again, it was runs from behind the ball, you see. And that runner who's coming from behind the ball and he's going at the side of the box, he's either going to get free or he's going to take defenders with him and leave holes for other players to come into, or even make space for the man on the ball, as he did then.
They come looking for a third before half-time. 3-0 really would kill off Venezuela. There's Ivan Zamorano, scorer of Chile's second goal. Pleasurable moment for him and for us because it was such a beautifully executed goal. And it just again proved the thinking we had before this game. The quality of football in South America often is very, very good indeed. They do play the game beautifully at times. We know the other side of their game too, the temperamental factor. But when it's played like this, it's exquisite.
It's good to watch, John. It's quick, it's sharp. The passing is all over 10-15 yards. There's a lot of running off the ball. And then you get the individual ability thrown in on the end of it. It's good to watch.
Free kick for Chile, looking for a third, headed away by Chinazi. This time they bring the ball away, and they always look as though they're going to lose it. However, they just try and do a little too much on the ball sometimes in midfield.
Well, what they do, John, is that they win possession, and then all of a sudden they want to make kind of 3 or 4 passes before they get to the halfway line. Well, obviously that gives chance for the Chileans, who are hustling and closing down people all the time, to get the ball back. You know, if they could hit their front players, I know they've only got 1, they've got 3 behind their front player. If they could hit him, then they wouldn't get this. They wouldn't lose the ball in their own half so often.
It appears that Maldonado has become the 3rd Venezuelan booked. So the referee, Senor Perez, really busying himself in taking the names of Venezuelans, Cavallo, Jimenez and now Maldonado. And it's a free kick for Chile, who are 2 goals to the good. And certainly Zamorano, with his height, he's a bit taller than the rest of the air, is posing a few problems.
He looks good in the air, John. I don't think the Venezuelans are good at defending in the air, but he's doing his job. You know, and they're looking for him, aren't they? He's trying to get on the end of the cross, and they are trying to get the crosses in for him.
You really do imagine that the key game in this Group A is going to be Chile versus Argentina. It comes up later in the week. You'll see all the matches in the South American Championships here on Screen Sport. And Chile certainly must be among the favourites, playing in front of their own supporters.
That's right, John. This home advantage in world-class football is very, very important. Obviously, the players feel comfortable. You know, they've got no problems with water. You know, they being at home, it works out super for them.
It's worth a goal advantage, a goal start probably in many matches. But Chile already have a 2-goal advantage here against Venezuela. They're on the attack once more. They've picked out their man beautifully again. This time Mendoza just unable to control it, and the linesman there telling him he was offside in any event. But it really has been an impressive first half from Chile's point of view, and I would imagine that their coach is going to be extremely complimentary in his words to the team at half-time. Arturo Salah, I would think he'd be very happy.
Yes, he will be, John. Obviously, he'll tell them not to get kind of, you know, not to go easy on the thing, to keep the pace of the game up, plenty of giving and going, keep the movement going, keep the crosses coming in. They'll be reminding them of all the good things they've done well in the first half.
And they've done plenty. And the only blemish was when they almost conceded the first goal. However, they've recovered from that very nicely. They've looked quite polished. When they've had to defend, they've done so just as they do there. Less than 5 minutes left in the half here in Santiago then. It's Chile 2, Venezuela 0. The goals coming from Vilches on 23 minutes and Zamorano 10 minutes before half-time. Rather desperate clearance this time from Cavallo. Certainly a lot to look forward to in these South American Championships, as we were showing you at the start. Although Brazil don't have some of the great names, they do still have the likes of Neto and Taffarel, that very fine goalkeeper. Branco, who played in the World Cup last year, of course, as well in Italy. And then the likes of Higuita and Valderrama for Colombia. Chile coming again over Zamorano, still a chance of a third. They can't lay it off this time. And clumsy bit of work in midfield, however. So this free kick has gone against Chile.
Yes, we've got some good individual players to watch, John. It's quite exciting, really, because we don't get a chance to watch. We see them in the World Cup, don't we? And sometimes I think in the World Cup we don't see them at their best. There's a little bit too much pressure on them. Perhaps here at home in South America, a little bit more relaxed. We can really see what they're made of.
Well, I'm thinking in particular there of Colombia, because besides the goalkeeper, who everybody knows about, they've got a striker called Iguaran, who is very, very useful, and a very good centre-back in Pereira, I thought.
I agree.
A strong fellow. And they'll be much happier playing in these surroundings than they were in Italy. Chile moving through the midfield. 2-0 up. Looks like a foul challenge. And the free kick awarded for the tackle on Espinosa. Another who wasn't named in the original lineup allows the free kick to be taken by Contreras. This was sounded again. Offside. Still 2-0. And down he goes. A bit of time wasting maybe here. Oh, there he gets up. And he knew that he had to do. Suspected that. And Venezuela come on the break on the right. Now then, if they could just get a goal before half-time, it would change the entire complexion.
They have had a bit of joy, actually, the Venezuelans, when they broke down that right side. I don't know whether the Chilean left-back is pushing in a bit too far or is a bit of a ball watcher. But every time they get a good break and they stick balls down their right wing, they look as though they can get into a good crossing position at least.
I think there's a bit of confusion in the mind of Cesar Marcano there. He wasn't sure whether to let that ball go dead or whether to play it out. In the end, he's played it out, and he's given Chile another opportunity for a goal in the last 2 minutes of this first half. And what a good first half it's been, certainly for Chile. 2-0 up. Kick given, taken sharply by Rivas. He had one very good run and shot earlier on, and now leaves it here for Maldonado. Maldonado tries to use his pace to get through, but he hasn't quite got enough of it.
They are prepared to go one-on-one, as it was there. The sweeper had to step in there and tidy that situation up. But I mean, if they get inside the Chilean arc, the Venezuelans, they'll have a go one-on-one.
Well, the Venezuela coach has said that what they really want to do is make an impression with the quality of their football and show that they can play. So it's a nice willingness that they've got. We're certainly coming up towards half-time here in Santiago, with Chile leading 2-0 against Venezuela in the opening match of the 91 Copa America. Ooh, he dallied on the ball and then played it back wide of his own goalkeeper. An extraordinary corner kick for James to concede there. He really panicked.
That's the problem, John, you see. They've won the ball back, the player's gone out into midfield with the ball and he's going forward. Instead of playing the ball forward, he checks, he comes back, and now he's in trouble and he finishes up with a silly back pass.
And it really would be a tragedy if it led to a third corner. Taken once more, and they've had good corner kicks so far of Chile. Chipped back in, blocked, and surely nothing will come of that now, and it looks as though Venezuela will get to the break without a further concession. They're 2 down, they've had 3 players booked, and of course that's something else that might feature later on. Yep. A number of players who stay on in these matches.
Yeah, well, Johnny, you were saying that most of those players that got booked were all lads making their debut. And obviously they were they go out there, it's a big important game for them. They're a bit nervous. They think they've got to win every ball, they think they've got to win every tackle, and they go into situations they shouldn't go in. They have to go through it, John. I mean, this is where experience. You only get experience by doing it.
Quick comment then, Don. I would think Chile very, very happy at half-time.
Oh, yeah. I would think that, you know, it's a nice... I would think the crowd are pleased as well. Obviously, it's a very partisan crowd. They'll be pleased. They'll be going in. And the coach will remind them of all the good things and keep it going.
Thanks very much, Don. So it's Chile 2, Venezuela 0 here. Goals from Vilches and Zamorano. Chile 2, Venezuela 0. We're back after the break. Welcome back. Chile 2, Venezuela 0 in the opening game of the Copa America here in Santiago. And really a dream start for the host nation. There's so much pressure on them, although everybody expects the host nation to do really well in their own country. If they don't get the right result first off, then they're under immense pressure.
I agree, John. And obviously the crowd would be kind of... They get a little bit tense, they get caught up in it, and if, as it was, the goal came in the end of in the middle of the first half, but even they get it tight, because they're expecting to get a goal in the first 10 minutes. And everybody there's a little bit of tension gets around the place, and players stop doing the simple things. You know, they try to force situations, and it can lead to the tenseness which comes in the side that you don't want. I mean, you want players to be relaxed, you want them to express themselves. But when the goal came, I think, as soon as the goal came, I think you could see one or two players were saying, okay, here we go now, and started to believe that they have got a chance of winning this tournament.
Yet another of these short, inexplicable hold-ups that we get in South America. There's one at the start, and we have another one at the start of the second half. That's just because Venezuela don't want to come out. It's a similar situation to a cup tie between, say, a first division side at home to a third division side here, isn't it? And if the third division side puts on pressure for the first 20 minutes and the home side doesn't get a goal, then the crowd gets a little bit anxious and frustrated.
If that Venezuela goal, if he'd have delivered that final ball across the 6-yard box and they'd have scored off that, it might have a completely different complexion on the game.
This looks like a big psychological ploy to me on behalf of the Venezuelan coach. He's holding his side back. He's not letting them come out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this is about, but knowing what either come, knowing what goes on in South America, time doesn't seem to be too important to them. Punctuality is way down on their list of priorities.
The mañana attitude.
Yeah.
Anyway, here come Venezuela today. They've got a tough one because they've got Argentina after this. Now, what a start that is for them.
Well, that's right, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's a long way away. You tend to think, well, they've got nothing to lose. Nobody expects them to do well. Go out there and play. But straight away, as soon as the game began, they folded back in their own half and just stood there, left one player up. You know, there's got to be a little bit more to it than that.
So, just a reminder then, as we await the start of the second half, it's Chile 2, Venezuela 0. The goals for Chile coming from Vilches and Zamorano. There you have it, 2-0. Beautiful backdrop here in Santiago. Scene of the 1962 World Cup finals, which Don, you were a member of the England squad on that occasion, although you didn't actually play it.
No, I was in the squad, John, and Jimmy Arfield was the right back in those days, and we did quite well. We got knocked out with the team that. Well, they didn't win it in the end, but they were a good side. Sorry, they did win it in
Brazil
the end.
beat Czechoslovakia
in the end.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been thinking them for a
yeah,
bit.
yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, here we go again on this lush surface we've already given credit to earlier. It really is a magnificent pitch. And if all the stadiums are as good as this one, then I think we're in for a very fine South American Championship. It's interesting that in recent years the Libertadores Cup sort of took precedence over the South American Championships and became a bit more important. Club football became very important, but they're really trying to build it up again now. And here come Venezuela straight away on the move with Fernandez. And his ball laid in, headed out, not very far. Here's a shooting chance, certainly. And the first shot of the half is driven in by Cavallo.
Got 4 players forward there, John, and also a midfield player following up, who picked up the knockout and got a shot in. If they can keep that up, well, they can get themselves back in the game. Why not?
Gomez laying the ball forward here for Zamorano, who knocks it back again. Throw-in should be taken quickly down this left-hand side. Picked up by Gomez. Tackle put in by Pacheco. Remember him as well, Pacheco, 2 years ago. He's another one who played in all the matches.
Yeah.
Forward this time. But that's a crunching tackle from behind, and already we've had 3 bookings, and I think this might be a 4th. They lead 4-0 on bookings anyway, and the latest one is Pacheco.
Silly tackle. I mean, the fella on the ball was going virtually away from goal. He's going back towards his own half. Why he had to put his foot in the end, I don't know.
So Cavallo, Jimenez, Maldonado, and now Pacheco, all cautioned by Senor Perez from Colombia, the referee.
What they have been schooled at, John, is to, if they are going to give a foul away, to give it in a position that's not vulnerable. Like most of the fouls the Venezuelans have given away has been kind of a good 40 yards from goal, where there's no shot on.
That's right. I think there's only been the one occasion which was that free kick which wasn't properly taken and yet still led to an effort on goal, which was about 25 yards out maybe. Throw-in taken for Chile again by Gomez. He seems to have seen more of the ball in this half already than he did in the first. It can go like that. And they play it right across the back. Chile, one of those countries who favoured the sweeper system for a good while. But it's Venezuela coming, looking and hunting down this right side, and an unfortunate stumble there. That could have been dangerous to Chilean hopes. And even now it's won back again by Pacheco. Surrounded by white shirts. It's laid forward. The darting little figure of Rubio coming after it. Hugo Rubio seems to have been a fixture in the Chilean side now for some time, winning his 25th cap here today. Zamorano, probably nobody to cross the ball to. Excellent work, however, and loud appeals to no avail. And I think the referee probably quite justified there.
Well, he went off on a good dribble. You know, he did the first defender and got across him, got across his path. When the second defender came, he still wanted to go again. I thought that was the time he could have released it. Here he goes, he gets past that defender. He could have come in then.
Yep.
And he decides to do it again.
Seemed to lose his footing a little.
Yes.
Balance. Still then Chile leading Venezuela by 2-0. We've got Paraguay versus Peru. It's a real double-header, isn't it, for the fans here? It's a marvellous start for them. 2 matches of quality. Plenty of World Cup memories of Paraguay and Peru as well. Peru, of course, the side that inflicted that defeat on Scotland in
When the South
Argentina.
Americans, John, don't get too emotional, when they keep things kind of under control, it's good football to watch. Very entertaining, lovely little 1-2s, super little bits of individual skill. They spoil it all when they all lose their heads.
The all Latin temperament we talk about. And it's Chile coming forward in numbers again. Laid off by Garrido, I think it was. And now they come down the right. Chance of a shot here maybe, and it's not a bad one, but smothered once more by Fraciana, who had a good first half. The shot eventually was fired in by Pizarro. Just beginning to get the upper hand again in this half.
Yeah, they're getting them closed down again, John. It's happening all over again, and they're going to get themselves in top of the Venezuelans. They're making too many passes in their own half. They're not getting their heads up and looking for the front players. They make 3 or 4 passes, and obviously, sooner or later, the Chileans get it back.
Here's yet another cross coming in, headed away this time by Jimenez. Espinosa. Again, it's just beginning to look a little bit ominous for Venezuela as he finds his man again, and good movement outside the edge of the Venezuela penalty area. They're threading 2 or 3 good passes together there before Gallardo brings it away for Venezuela. You see good covering work, and there were 2 Chileans who got back there to keep them at bay. Bit of unsure handling, I must say, there by the goalkeeper Toledo.
Well, obviously, John, in this situation, the sweeper's got a big responsibility because he's the fellow who's got to stop the break. If the Venezuelans do come on a break, he's got to read it. And obviously, more times he's got to intercept it as well.
More danger here. That time the little 1-2 didn't quite work. But there's been some very effective short passing by Chile in this game, and it looks as though there might be some more here. Dangerous ball to the far post, just beyond Zamorano, who managed to keep it in play. However, they look as though they're going to be lining up for a shot at goal. And Venezuela just succeeding in getting enough bodies around, and now the breakout is led once more by Maldonado. Still Maldonado, flies the ball left now. Oh, an unfortunate first touch from Rivas. And again, Maldonado, the one who looks most dangerous when he gets into Chilean territory. Rubio, little touch back, and it's a neat one as well. Again, it's Espinosa who comes onto it, and you really do get the feeling a third goal must accrue shortly if it carries on like this.
They're super, the Chileans. They must have worked at this quite hard of making runs from behind the ball. It's played into a front player, somebody who's ahead of the ball. He gets hold of it, and then people start making runs from the back of him. and obviously he senses the right time just to slip them up the sides of the box.
So it's still 2-0 for Chile. There have been ominous signs in this half from a Venezuelan point of view that they might well concede a few more. Just a reminder again that we have two groups here. This is a match in Group A, in which we have Chile, Venezuela, Paraguay, Peru and Argentina. Then in Group B, Colombia, Ecuador, Uruguay, Bolivia and Brazil. Two from each group qualify for the last 4 round-robin playoff in Santiago. And you can see all 26 matches here on Screen Sport. It's actually costing $1.8 million for Chile to stage this tournament, but they've done it before and they're known to be good hosts.
Well, the World Cup in '62 was very successful.
It was indeed, and here's more good work down that right touchline this time by Rubio. Free kick surely for that. It is. And I can see a Venezuelan getting sent off in this match, to be honest.
Yeah. They go for balls they can't get. The ball's in defeat into a Chilean's feet, and they come from behind or they come up the side and they throw themselves in. And if the ball gets moved, the feet are still there, the ball's gone, and obviously they hit the feet.
Espinosa will take the free kick. And they'll play it in longer this time. The goalkeeper got a punch to it. Pacheco nodding it up in the air. The player who brings it away is Fernandez. Now it's Chile who have to funnel back sharply. And I said it once in the first half, I'll say it again, if Venezuela got a goal, it certainly would alter the complexion of the game. And it is the better part of their game, is attacked by the look of it. Rolled in field this time by Gallardo. And they're just unable to keep possession. That was a sloppy pass.
No, it doesn't even look as though they know what to do when they get forward. In general, they come down this right side, as they did in the first half. They're not too bad. But anywhere else, it's nothing happening.
Played in field. Taken up again. They do support one another rather better, Chile, as well. When somebody loses the ball, there's somebody else to pick it up.
They're more professional. They've been schooled in getting the ball played simple and early.
Contreras with the pass this time, a little short one, and it's a poor cross in this time, however, and Fraciana will deal capably with that one. The goalkeeper who's just won his Spurs recently found his way into the Venezuelan first team. Again the ball given away, and surely there must be chances of a third goal this time. It's from the angle and he can't beat it. But once more disappointment for Rubio.
Should have hit the target there. He worked himself a nice position, kind of let it run across him, went outside of him, gets round, done all the hard work. Now all he's got to do is get on the target. I think he tried to squeeze it inside that near post.
Yeah, he went for the narrow angle really, but didn't quite come off. A bit of frustration around again, because I think the crowd is sort of sensing that their team could score half a dozen here.
Yeah, well, the crowd would like 4 or 5, obviously.
So our coverage of the South American Championships brought to you in conjunction with Lucozade. Venezuela 2-0 down. They've never won the South American Championships, and it would be a bold gambler indeed who would put money on them to win them this time. And a foolish one too, I think. Chile, on the other hand, might not be a bad bet. You obviously look to the likes of Brazil and Argentina and Uruguay, although a lot of the Uruguayans, of course, play in Europe these days, and the new coach has decided not to include them. So you've got to look at Brazil and Argentina as the two most likely.
They've forced themselves a free kick here. I mean, the man on the ball really attacked the defenders, ran at them with the ball, forced a free kick just outside the box. I don't know whether they've got anybody in the side who can got a blockbuster of a shot or can bend the ball.
First booking on the Chilean side as well. I think it was Gomez, and the substitutions have been made with Carlos Castro coming on in place of Gallardo. Can't honestly say that Gallardo has made a great impact in this match, so Carlos Castro is his replacement. Comes from the Teixeira club. One good thing, of course, is that these players are given specific numbers at the start of the championships and wear them all the way through. So number 18 is replaced by number 20, Carlos Castro. The man standing, or the two men standing over this free kick, Maldonado and Jaimez, and here is a good strike on goal, and the first real save that Toledo has had to make.
Yeah, it was a good shot, John. I mean, and they got 3 players in on the keeper quickly. I mean, if they come away from the keeper, did very well. They held on to it well, because it was just about bouncing in front of him, which is awkward for a keeper. And the Venezuelans have got 3 players on top of him. Good free kick and a good save.
But it's still 2-0. Chile in front. They look like picking up the first 2 points of the championships. It'll be very interesting for the Argentinians, of course, who have the opportunity of watching both this match and the one between Paraguay and Peru after it before they enter the fray, so to speak. And they can assess the strength of the opposition of all 4 countries they're up against. Chile building nicely down, that beautifully weighted ball, that one. Here's a good cross in, put out of play in the nick of time by Jimenez.
Lovely 1-2 down the right side to get into that crossing position. And obviously they don't defend well in the air either, Venezuela. Let's see what they do at this near post.
Well, Venezuela, one of the few countries who've never qualified for the World Cup finals either, like Ecuador. Here's the corner kick. This time it doesn't work out. They do get man up there. The substitute headed it back towards his own goal, Castro. So no addition to the scoreline as yet in this second half, but it really is nearly all Chile. And Rubio has caused quite a few problems. They cause them again now. Looking now, that was pulled back a little bit too far. Once more, however, it's Chile on the ball, and you really can't imagine that they can't add to those 2 goals if they carry on dominating to such an extent.
Yeah, the pressure will bring the goal, John. It has to do. I mean,
15 minutes gone in this second half in Santiago's National Stadium, and it's Chile 2, Venezuela 0. And those are the Chilean substitutes. And he's got quite a lot of experience on the bench as well as the coach to choose from. Arturo Salah. They look for a different option. Rubio tries to give them it. Now seeking to get the ball on the right foot, threaded through. Here's the chance. Oh, good stop once more from Fraciana. And but for this goalkeeper, it might well have been 3 or 4 already.
He's done well. He's made some super saves. This was a better shot here. He was pulling it back into the back post. The keeper cut it out. But if he gets through to the back post, the centre forward's there to tap it in. There he is arriving now.
Pizarro's had a good second half as well. He's been involved a great
He's a good little player. He's involved in everything going forward.
Well, there might be trouble now. Good decision by the referee. He waved play on. He could certainly have given the free kick. In fact, it might have happened on 2 or 3 occasions in this move. Eventually it's cleared, and that was one where it didn't work out for the referee, really, because had you given the free kick,
you're dead right, John. I think it was a good decision.
I think he's had a good match for this referee, really, from Colombia. And yet another yellow card, and this time it's Marcano, the 5th Venezuelan to get one.
Yeah, well, what he's done, you see, there's been a nasty tackle, but he can see the Chileans have got something going for themselves, so he thinks, well, there's a chance here for the Chileans, I'm going to let this one go. He let it go, nothing come from it, but now he's dealing with the tackle that he let go early on.
That's right.
Which is how a referee should definitely how he should see the advantage one team's got.
He did it absolutely right. I think it was Marcano that was put there. The caption said Vilches, but I can't imagine it was a Chilean player for any reason at all. So looked as though, to me, Marcano was the 5th Venezuelan to be booked. Corner kick for Chile, however. And Zamorano will get up there again. Oh, and it's tipped back once more, and they're really desperate straits, Venezuela, at the moment. And again, they give the ball away. Their passing game has just gone all to pieces. That has been non-existent, and if either Brazil or Argentina are particularly strong, you can see them really scoring a stack full of goals against them, Argentina being their next opponents. Brazil would only play them, of course, if they were to get through to the final. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you see, obviously, when they play against the top pro teams, the Argentinas and the Chiles and the Uruguayans, who have got front players who are used to this tight situation around the edge of the box, and they're used to handling the ball there, sooner or later they're going to get done. That's what they ought to come out and give it a go.
There was confirmation there of Marcano's booking, and confirmation given from the linesman there of the latest offside in the game. Strangely, against the Venezuela. Must be a first.
It's a peculiar situation, this, in football. I mean, having worked with players, is that even if the coach has said to them, go out there and express yourself and don't worry about the results, players themselves kind of look at the opponents and think, oh, that's so-and-so, and that, oh, I better not do that against him. And the players themselves get themselves in that situation. It's not always the coach.
Right, because you often hear managers saying it's only about what we do and not what the opposition does,
yes,
really.
That's right.
But you can't always instill that in players. Venezuela trailing by 2-0 here in Santiago. Zamorano tackling for the ball, trying to win it twice, and successfully on both occasions. It's a bit of uncharacteristically weak defending from Chile, and he's just opened them up, and the goalkeeper Toledo has to make the save at the end of it, and that really showed that even the side of Venezuela's capabilities could just have profited from that.
Yes.
They got a bit slack.
Got a nice left-footed shot here, a lot of power in the shot. The keeper's got well off his goal line, got outside the 6-yard box and made a good save. Cut the angle right down and got it on the second attempt.
Gomez slips the pass in field, no free kick this time. Rather fortunately, Cavallo came away and was able to play that ball upfield, where it's taken on by Rivas. Tall, lanky sort of a player, not got a bad left foot either. But
he's got a very good left foot, John. He's got a super left foot, and he can go past a player as well. When they're direct, when they win the ball and come direct, rather than try and make 2 or 3 passes, they look as though they can get in against the Chileans.
Nice little knock forward. Here's a good chance. Pizarro's been dragged wide now. He did the first bit beautifully well. So he was just forced out wide. Gets the corner kick. Jaime Pizarro, one of the Chileans who English fans may well remember played at Wembley 2 years ago in the Rouse Cup.
Yes.
As indeed 2 or 3 of this side did. Contreras played there, so did Espinosa and Rubio. They all figured in that game at Wembley. And it's Chile's corner. They've scored from one corner already. Here's the shot. Well driven into. Fine effort from Espinosa.
They've got a nice variety on the corners. I think they've realised now they're not going to get in on the near post. Obviously at half-time, the Venezuelan coach has done something about those near post corners. So now, I mean, that one was out towards the D. They've knocked the one earlier, they knocked to the back post. So they've got a nice variation on their corners.
Here's that man we were talking about, Rivas on the left foot again. Maldonado rolls it inside, takes the return pass. Maldonado goes again. Lovely little build-up here from Venezuela. It's just that one touch from Fernandez which let them down, but they're gaining in confidence a little here. They've not conceded anything in this half. Chile coming once more with Pizarro. Got Rubio wide. First of all, however, he brings in Contreras. They just overdid it. Venezuela this time getting enough men back, and the crowd, you can tell from the whistling around the ground, getting that little bit frustrated again. They want a third goal. No doubt Chile are worth a third.
Yes, they are, but I think their momentum is just dropping and sagging a little bit. I think their fitness level, I think they're just having a breather, John. I think that, and to keep it up with how they've played, it's not easy.
And bearing that in mind, I think this is a good time for a substitution. He's going to bring Jorge Contreras off. And the first alteration made by Arturo Salar will be the removal of midfield man Contreras. He's worked quite hard.
He's made a lot of runs, John. He's made some super runs from behind the ball.
Venezuela looking, and the catch made by Toledo before the substitution can be made. And so Contreras is here and he's still involved. And he's no doubt seen the number 8, and he knows he's about to come off, and he wants to make one last valuable contribution. plays Gomez down the right. Movement inside the box. They'll be looking for the big man, but again, the quality, of course, not good. Frassiana can handle those with no problems at all.
Centre of the goal, John. I mean, good goalkeepers will come out and meet those all day. He's either got to go sharp into the near post or hung right over on the back post.
Well won by Espinosa. Took a little bit too long playing the ball. Mendoza. Now the experienced Garrido. Here he is once more. A bit more open space this time. Contreras still on the pitch. Can't get him off. The ball just won't go out of play. Nor will the referee give a free kick to allow the substitution to take place. So Rivas comes again. He's seen a lot of the ball in the last few minutes. Here he is on that left foot again, and this time the little 1-2 does not work. And Chile come down the right, and they'll seek to make quick inroads, while Venezuela have got a lot of players funneling back. Oh, and it's a good run, this. Oh, and it would have been a super goal. But down goes Frassiana once more to make the save.
That's a very exciting run. I mean, he picked it up kind of just inside the Venezuelan half, and he virtually went right for the penalty spot. Finished up on the edge of the box.
Still, that substitution has not been made for Chile. So they have the original 11 out there.
I don't know whether it's because it's a lot of short passings in, but there's hardly any throw-ins. I mean, when you try and think back, how many throw-ins have you seen? And because they can't get the sub on, the game needs stopping to get the sub on. I mean, normally we give a throw-in out in our football.
Either that or a free kick.
Yeah.
It just has been nothing, has it? Here's a goal chance! Super save! Zamorano really rose to that, and I believe he thought he was a goal scorer for the second time in the match, thwarted by Frassiana.
Yeah, he pulls away to the back post. See him there, look, he's pulled on the back post, then comes in and meets it, gets a header in, goalkeeper gets a nice little touch over the bar.
Still that number 8 is kept down.
He would have had to come on now, I mean, the ball's dead.
Yes, here he comes, yeah. Contreras. So that's his natural gait, but he's going to go off to be replaced by another experienced man, another who played at Wembley, Jaime Vera. Vera, who played in Crete in Greece for a number of years. So the experience factor of the side is not lessened by his arrival. And it's a corner kick. Rubio to take it. Chile looking for a third goal. The goalkeeper sound as ever. Frassiana has certainly guaranteed his place in the next match, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've blocked off all those near post corners now. I mean, the coaches dealt with that at half time. And now that they're going more back post, the goalkeepers are back in the game again. Can deal with those corners.
You can't see the overall result being affected, but we did mention earlier about goal difference being important. And Chile might not see it as too happy a result if it stays at only 2-0.
It would be a good opening result. The crowd would like 5, obviously, but it doesn't work out that way. I mean, they have just lost the momentum at the moment. They're a little bit more ragged. That's where I think the subs come on. Give it a bit of a lift.
Here they come now. They are buzzing a little bit on this move. Pizarro started it. Continued down the right here. There's plenty of movement over there. You see Espinosa making a run, and here he is now. The flag raised, however. It was a good run by Espinosa. You could see what was in the thinking. Just went that fraction too early.
Yep. You see, John, I would think that the Chileans have been really kind of preparing for this one. This is a big one for them, and they obviously want to do well.
Absolutely, they're under a bit of pressure here. I think the whistle has sounded. It certainly has. Yes, it is indeed a big game for Chile, especially coming after Colo-Colo's success in the Libertadores Cup. They'll really be expecting the national team to do well. You get a feeling when somebody's on a high, and they're looking for the third now. They're taking their time about it. Pizarro's pass out here this time, picked up by Gomez. Lob back in towards Zamora. This time he is beaten in the air, so one Chilean player down, clutching his face. There he is. It's the scorer of the first goal, Vilches. And the shot from Gomez hopelessly wide. He didn't look at all confident on that at any moment. Coverage of the South American Soccer Championships brought to you here on Screen Sport in association with Adidas.
Possible, John, to control a game anyway for 90 minutes. You don't know who you play against. But it's how you get back in control of the game that's important. Having recognised that you're not in control or you're not doing the things you were doing. It's how the coach deals with getting things going again. And he can do it by bringing subs on. You know, one or even two. Or he's demanding from the line different things. He's demanding that the simple pass goes early.
So it's still 2-0. Chile 2, Venezuela 0. The opening match in Santiago. And Chile again on the attack. They do move forward with such purpose. They're a very attractive looking side, the way they play the ball around. It's a good surface for them to play on as well. I said before, if all the surfaces are as good as this one in the various venues, then I think we're in for a treat. Pizarro, he's not got a lot of pace, but he uses what he has got well, and he cuts the ball back there. Once more it's Faciano who falls on it. And you can see there's a bit of anguish on the face of the Chilean coach. But Pizarro seems to be becoming an increasing influence in this game.
The coach there, he's asking for them to go round the overlaps around the outside. He's showing with the kind of rolling of his arm. He wants them to go round the outside all the time and then get into crossing positions. He knows what he wants.
Well, he's getting it in terms of results so far. 2-0, Chile in the lead. Still that nagging thought at the back of the mind that if Venezuela get one, it won't look so good. But it's Chile very much on the attack, very much in the ascendancy, looking for that third goal. They just need a break. Quarter of an hour to go, and it's Chile 2, Venezuela 0. And Venezuela really on a dash out here. Oh, and if he'd have continued his run, it looked to me as though he'd got a good chance of a shot on goal. I couldn't understand the thinking of the substitute Castro there.
He wanted to put the early cross in, John. I've got to say that. I think he realised the players coming from the back. But at the same time, he could have gone close to the byline. And perhaps...
Oh, here's the chance. It's just nicked across the face of goal. Sorry, Don.
Yeah, I'm just trying to describe, you know, having got into a hell of a good break from the back and got down this right side again, the cross could have been better.
There we see a little toe poke from Zamorano, which caused a bit of panic. So they've just under quarter of an hour left in which to try and secure a more convincing looking win with a third goal. And again, it's that man Pizarro started it all off there. For the corner to be won by Rubio. Seems to be going in phases at the moment. Quick little burst, and then it slows down. Now the corner taken. Chile looking for a third. Shot bravely headed out. I think it was Pacheco who got in the way of it. Unfortunately for him, it went straight to his own man, Rivas.
Yes, a third goal would really seal it for them, John. That's what they need. I mean, like you say, 2 goals, Venezuelan score, that lifts them. Who knows, you know, there's a bit of pressure put on the back. People start panicking. A third goal, it just settles people down. It just settles players down.
And also Chile would go off to their second game against Peru much happier with a 3-0 behind them than a 2-1. Or even a 2-0. Which is what it is right now. Certainly the Venezuelans not been afraid to put themselves about. 5 players booked against the 1 Chile man, cautioned. Chile again coming. They seem to have favoured that right touchline for most of the build-ups. Here's a good-looking cross. Not quite deep enough even now.
No, they're feeding the keeper a little bit this second half.
Yeah. And Venezuela's coach responds by suggesting that Otilio Yantis will be his second substitute used. Yantis from Mineros. But the Chile side basically made up of players from Universidad Católica and Colo Colo. Indeed, the only other club represented, Palestino, from whom Gomez plays. And of course there are the two European-based players, Rubio of San Gallen and Zamorano of Seville. Just gone off the boil a little bit in the last few minutes. That was certainly weird defending.
Yes.
Very weird indeed, and Pizarro takes a corner that really shouldn't have been conceded at all. And he's already taken it, and I think he's going to get a second chance to cross the ball in, almost in slow motion. Clutched by Fraciano. As Venezuela think of that second substitution. And I would think that they'd be quite, well, content is probably the wrong word, but certainly much happier to lose 2-0, having lost 2 and had a goal disallowed in the first half an hour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can be happy with losing, which obviously is very difficult, I suppose they can go away and think, well, we've played the team that are at home, who I suppose are one of the favourites to win this competition. That doesn't lead us too badly into the next. And nobody expects them to win anyway. And with what they've got playing against the home team, playing against Chile, they might go into the second game thinking, well, that ain't too bad.
That's right, they might fancy the chances against a Paraguay or a Peru. But here come Chile, still on the lookout for that third. With Pizarro. Playing the ball wide here for Rubio, well covered by Pacheco. There's that substitute, Yantis, and the player who he will replace will be Udamaro Fernandez. So Yantis comes on, the second substitute used by Venezuela. Fernandez off and Yantis on. Yantis, one of the more experienced players. Perhaps a surprise he didn't start the game. A bit of puffing and blowing there. But to be honest, Chile haven't really looked like scoring a third goal in the last few minutes because the quality of their crossing and
they've had the one header. They've had the one header, John, where the goalkeeper pushed it over the bar in this second half. I can't think of another one where you thought, well, that could have been a goal. No, the rest has been very ordinary. They're not making the positions in the box. There's no movement in the box. No crosses are coming in, nobody's dashing into the near post. Nobody's pulling away to the back post. There's no positions in the box.
Yet I'm sure it's not that they've settled for 2-0 because they want more than that. They want a more emphatic victory. They look to get it here. Laid off once more. Oh, and Nisma surely with the third. What a miss. What a desperately bad miss that is by Rubio. Well, 9 out of 10 you'd have backed him.
They tried to play offside. The one defender didn't come out and left two players in the box.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It's a little toe poke, isn't it? And
I think he had a lot more time than what he knew. Should have slotted just inside that far post.
Yeah, he's got it between fullback and goalkeeper. Wide, and I think even he looked at the referee to say, wasn't I offside? I think he wanted to be after he missed it.
The referee was in a super position to judge that one.
He's done well.
Yeah.
And it's still 2-0. 8 minutes left, but Hugo Rubio really should have made it a very convincing 3-0 rather than the 2-0 you see there.
I think if that one had gone in, John, I think the trainer would have emptied the bucket and the coach would have put his cigarettes away and everybody would have been quite satisfied. Back to the hotel, everybody having a nice little drink.
They've been on their way to the next one. Yeah. Very, very happy indeed.
He's got a sweat for another 5 minutes.
Here's a chance. Oh, side netting. Nice little sharp build-up down the right. Zamorano's finish crisp, but not accurate. But from that angle, it was unlikely to be so.
I like him, John. I think he's a good player. I think he moves about. He's good in the air. He makes his runs. He's getting his shots in. I think he had a super game tonight.
Yeah, I would think if the South American Championships are looking for a star, a new star. Well, Zamorano has certainly been the first one to register a claim.
He makes himself available for all the players on the ball. They can hit him at any time. If he gets tightly marked, he spins away. Once he gets wide, he gets to that back post. I've been impressed.
Pizarro, good ball. That's a free kick. And it's going to be desperate these last few minutes now, because Chile, I think, know they want to satisfy their crowd with a third goal. Venezuela having to defend desperately. They've already had 5 players booked. I think it's going to be a frantic finish.
Yes. Well, this is the time, really. If Chile kind of can keep their cool and do the right things, they could get that third goal.
They certainly could, and they have a free kick here, and they've sent a lot of people up. And the big man, Zamorano, is the one to watch out for to try and get on the end of this. Free kick is coming in from Espinosa. 4-man wall formed in front of him. And they've had some good variety on the free kicks. What can they do with this one? They've got plenty of men in there. Here's the chance, and a man gets in the way. A blocking tackle made.
Yeah, it was a good block by the 4. He got to the striker quite quickly and hit his thigh and went over the bar.
Yes, I think it was Jimenez, and I think his coach will be quite pleased with Jimenez. He's done extremely well. You were right, it was the 4. And on his debut, besides being booked early on, he's done really well. Corner to be taken here by Jaime Vera, the substitute for Chile. It's a better one. It's round about the penalty spot, and the goalkeeper unchallenged now.
That was a better corner. He drove that one in, coming across the 6-yard box, head high. The goalkeeper don't come for them, they're too quick. He hasn't got time to judge his jump and get out to it.
Nicely done. And again, Venezuela getting enough bodies around just to deny any further progress for Chile, but still look to use this space down the right-hand side. Gomez has taken up a good position there. Here's another cross that's wayward. Brought away by the substitute, Castro.
Actually, the cross was quite a good cross, John. I think they didn't get players into the back post. Senford went to the near post. Zamorano, he went off to the near post, and nobody come round the back of the defenders to get into the back post.
So they leave it to Espinosa once more. Flick through to Rubio. No free kick given. And Fasciana, I think, will be quite pleased and relieved to hear the final whistle. He's had a busy old night. Busy start to the championship, but I would say he's covered himself in glory.
Oh,
really.
yes. Made some good saves. Handle the ball well. I mean, we used to think that continental goalkeepers or South American goalkeepers couldn't come out for crosses. I think both these goalkeepers tonight, obviously the Chilean goalkeeper not so often, but they've both come when it's been their turn to come for a cross, they've both come out and caught that ball.
I think the quality of goalkeeping in South America generally has improved markedly over the last few years. Tafarel's a very good goalkeeper for Brazil. Alves is a good goalkeeper for Uruguay. And of course, we saw Goycochea in the World Cup, who's a good shot stopper. No question about that.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the standard of goalkeeping is going up and up and up all the time. I think there's a lot of individual work on goalkeepers now, more than there ever was. And obviously, we're getting a lot of good goalkeeping coaches around as well.
Here's Maldonado. He couldn't score, could he, for Venezuela towards the end here? Well, he got the shot on goal, and Toledo saved it. So it's still 2-0 Chile. At least Venezuela have kept plugging away.
Yes.
They've not let their heads drop even when they went 2 down, because we did suggest at that time that it could be the prelude to an avalanche. It didn't turn out to be that way. And many of the Chilean crowd would have been hoping for more than a 2-goal success. It's 2-0 at the moment. That was an unfortunate ricochet, but they've still come away with the ball. Marcano again. First time we've seen a little bit of Latin temperament there. Actually,
yeah, I mean,
the two sides haven't been too bad tonight.
I mean, I think there's been 5 bookings, but you wouldn't say that it's been a dirty game or that there's been tackles that you'd say, well, you know, in general it's been where people have put their foot in, the ball's been moved, and
I think we've got a red card here, though, and I think it's because of a second bookable offence. Well, let's have a closer look at this. There didn't seem to be anything really there. Just a bit of argy-bargy going on between the two sets of players. And there is a Chilean player walking off. It's Chile who have actually lost. It looks a bit like Pizarro, actually. But we might be able to see that in a moment as the free kick comes in. Venezuela have to keep their composure. Chile might get a third goal. It's still 2-0, however. They're keeping them at bay for the moment. And we'll try and have a look at that incident again in just a moment. It really seemed to be a red card out of nothing. We did suggest there might well be a red card before the end of the day, but we thought it was probably more likely to be a Venezuelan player that was shown.
It'd given the foul to the Chileans anyway.
Yeah.
Either the players, he's had a word with the referee and said something he shouldn't have said, or he's put his hand on one of the Venezuelans. He's hit one of the Venezuelans.
Well, here we can see what happens. The 2 goes down, and there's a bit of a knee in the back. Free kick has already been awarded. He kicks the ball away. Then he grabs it. It's Espinosa who grabbed the ball. Mendoza, the other player involved. And after that, there was a red card shown, and nothing else happened. So I think that was a very, very paltry offence.
Didn't see much in that, John. We couldn't see much.
So we believe that Espinosa was the man dismissed. It was indeed Ruben Espinosa who was sent away, but it really didn't appear to be a very serious offence. And Pacheco might get a goal here for Venezuela. Well, unfortunately, there was no sting in his shot. That would have been a real blow to Chile. If they'd have lost a player and then a goal, that would have been even worse, of course. To be kept in play here by Rubio. Pelted straight up in the air by Marcano. And we're in the last 30 seconds of normal time in Santiago, with Chile looking as though they're going to start their South American Championship campaign with a comfortable victory over Venezuela, if not as emphatic as they would have liked, unless they can get a third here. No, again, not a penetrating enough cross, cut out by Frasiana.
Nice break down the left side. He looked in early and he could see the centre forward come to the near post, but the goalkeeper read it as well.
And that is it, and Chile have beaten Venezuela. They register the first points, the first goals of the South American Championships. They've won by 2-0 here. Vilches scoring after 23 minutes, Zamorano scoring the second on 35. A largely frustrating second half, however. Even so, Chile will be pleased that they've got the first points of the championship. 2-0 it is. Come back after the break.